Chapter 51 Preliminary Training, Physical and Divine Power, Maid informs. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Huang Ruoshi was about to step forward to stop her, but at this moment, a hand as slender as jade but very powerful blocked her. Su Qinglian, why are you blocking me? Something happened to the young master. Even if you and I have 10 lives, it's not enough to die. Huang Ruoshi said anxiously. She wanted to go up and stop the young master from cultivating, so as to avoid accidents, but Su Qinglian's face was indifferent, and she said calmly, "Don't worry, the young master is fine for the time being." Having said that, in the depths of Su Qinglian's eyes, the look of shock is still there, not much weaker than Huang Ruoshi. What they saw was too terrifying, directly overturning their previous understanding of cultivation. How can one step into the road of cultivation at 1 year old? If someone had told them before that there was a natural child prodigy who stepped into the path of cultivation at the age of 1, they would definitely think that person was crazy. Throughout the ages, there have been less than a handful of people who have been able to practice cultivation before they were 3 years old. The total number is no more than 5 or 6, and Yi Junlin, the God Emperor of the world, is one of them. But who is Yi Junlin, who has unparalleled talent in ancient and modern times, and also possesses the supreme and transcendent physique, the legendary body of the immortal king of absolute beginning? Being able to practice before the age of 3, the world can still understand, but their little master is just a mere mortal body. Where did the talent come from? What's more, the foundation of practice, that is, the starting point of practice, must have skills. Without exercises, how to talk about cultivation is just a fantasy. Where did the little master of his family get the skills? Do you want to go up and wake up the little master? Once something goes wrong, and the higher-ups blame it, I'm afraid that the forces behind you and me will all suffer catastrophe. Huang Ruoshi said with lingering fear. She was still worried, but she didn't know what to do, after all. It was also the first time she encountered such a weird situation. Now the little master is cultivating, but he is still young. Once you and I step forward and forcefully interrupt it, something bad may happen. And, the little master can practice stably, and the runes surround him, as if he is co-respecting. There should be no problem. Let's guard the little master for 1 night first, and see what will happen after tomorrow morning. Su Qinglian said that although she was extremely worried in her heart, the little master was optimistic, and, with a mortal body, he can step into the path of practice at the age of 1, and can start to practice. Undoubtedly a symbol of supreme genius. The little master definitely has a big secret. That's all there is to it. Tomorrow morning, let's go to Lord Mistress and God Emperor to see how they decide. Huang Ruoshi and Su Qinglian looked at each other, their eyes flickering. They really didn't know if the little master's matter was a blessing or a curse, but he could only wait by his side silently, not daring to act rashly. However, Yi Tian didn't know anything about what happened outside. Eyes closed tightly, in his mind, he kept deducing and practicing the first layer of Chaos Heavenly Emperor art. It is mysterious, needless to say. Yi Tian has been immersed in the world of practice. Invisibly, but it was far more than that. Yi Tian could clearly feel that his physical strength was increasing dramatically, at a speed that I dare not even dream of. The rapid growth. The bones became stronger and stronger, and the meridians in the body became stronger. Not at all like a 1-year-old child. With the practice of Chaos Heavenly Emperor art, Yi Tian's small body has grown a lot. And in Yi Tian's conscious space. This Chaos Heavenly Emperor art is not too difficult to practice. And this baby has a kind of kung fu practice, and I have the illusion that I am fishing. Ding, the host doesn't need to be surprised. In the cultivation just now, the host is still working very hard, although the exercises are dominant. The system is bubbling, but the words are rude. TCH, it doesn't matter who is in charge, but, Tongzi, I feel that the feeling of this cultivation is quite good. Yi Tian smiled lightly and said that he would not care about these details, but this feeling of cultivation is not as boring as imagined. Even Yi Tian, a 1-year-old child, seemed to have discovered a new continent. Tongzi, after practicing the Chaos Heavenly Emperor art, I feel that my physical strength has increased sharply, and I have even grown a lot taller. What the host said is correct, and, host, your current physical strength is far ahead of your peers. The system estimates that your physical strength is at least 1,000 caddies. Based on Yi Tian's current physical condition, the system made a conservative estimate, but it fell into Yi Tian's ears, and he couldn't believe it for a long time. Tongzi, what did you say? You're not mistaken. The power of 1,000 caddies, the awakening of the body at the age of 3, those ordinary geniuses with top talents may not be able to achieve such a level, that even Yi Tian himself finds it ridiculous, let alone just a mortal body. If there is such an extent, those other super physiques, the holy physique king physique, will be like paper in front of him, completely vulnerable. If you don't even trust the system, who else do you want to trust? Don't worry, this is just a conservative estimate. This is the power of chaos heavenly emperor art, otherwise, how could it be called the #1 skill in the ages? Listening to the tone of the system, he seems a little proud, but he has been suffering from the host. Not only did it help the host today, but the host was also slightly shocked. The system is extremely proud, and Yi Tian smiled lightly and shook his head, returning to his thoughts, and slowly opened his eyes, but as soon as he opened his eyes, he saw 2 people in front of him, and the phoenix eyes were staring at him tightly, for fear that he would disappear. Yi Tian didn't react for a while, thinking that someone had entered his bedroom by mistake. After taking a closer look, he realized that they were his 2 maids. Hey, have you finished your training? My baby is going to rest too. Yi Tian said in a childish voice. Her voice was soft and cute, just like the popular little milk dog in her previous life. Little master, you are really hiding something. How big is this? And you can even practice. Huang Ruoshi stared at Yi Tian and said with a smile. Yi Tian didn't know why, but felt a little guilty for no reason. Little master, how did you learn to practice, and where did you get the skills? What's more, 1-year-old practice. Throughout the ages, only 4 or 5 people can do it, but without exception, they have achieved the highest level. Ordinary children, if they practice before the age of 3, the foundation of the Tao will be damaged. If the situation is critical, they may all die young. Do you know how much turmoil this move will bring to the Wanhui family? Yi Tian listened to Huang Ruoshi's warning and didn't take it seriously. Oh, people will know how to measure. Yi Tian patted his head, looking like he was found out if he did something wrong. Don't be angry, woo woo. Seeing this, Yi Tian resorted to his classic routine again, show cuteness. He found that especially his 2 maids had no resistance to being cute. Sure enough. Seeing Yi Tian's cute appearance, Huang Ruoshi and Su Qinglian's hearts softened, and they didn't continue to ask. And Huang Ruoshi also knew that her little master was harboring a big secret. After all, her mind has matured since she was a child, and she has a fairy bone in her body, but she doesn't let the world know about it. If it were other children, I'm afraid they would have shown their holiness in front of others a long time ago, wishing that he was the only one in heaven and earth, thinking in my heart, I will go and tell the mistress and God Emperor about this matter early tomorrow morning. The fact that the young master can cultivate at the age of 1 will definitely cause a sensation in the entire Yi family, and even the heavens and the world. Chapter 52 Sequence Concern, Absurdly Absurd, Everyone Conjectures. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The next day, the morning dew was over, and the sun was rising in the east. From the ancient east, the spiritual energy was surging and boundless, like a tidal sea, and in Yi Tian's exclusive city, a stream of light flew across the sky like a rainbow, rushing towards the Yi family's martial arts stage at an extreme speed. Wearing a red dress, like a dancing flame, the figure under the red dress is slender, with snow-white skin, red pupils like agate. It is Huang Ruoshi. She also heard that today on the martial arts stage somewhere in the Wangi family, the God Emperor Yi Junlin and the mistress Yu Liuli will preach to the 3 sequence disciples of the Yi family and help them practice. It is most suitable to go at this time, otherwise. After the sermon, the God Emperor and the mistress Shenlong will see each other, and if there is no urgent matter, it may be as difficult as climbing the sky if you want to find them again. And somewhere on the martial arts stage of the Yi family, the central position, above the void, Yi Junlin was dressed in white, floating like a fairy, surrounded by the air of chaos, and the power of life and creation was endless, and the space could not bear the ray of divine power it emitted. Yu Liuli, the sage master of Yao Qi, accompanied her, wearing a long phoenix dress. Extremely dignified, with slender jade legs, like straight green bamboo, and her phoenix eyes opening and closing, with a forceful aura, and below it, there are these three Yi family children, some are tall, some are talented, some are chic and beautiful, but without exception, outside their bodies, there is a powerful force of law intertwined, just like ancient gods, with strong cultivation bases, all of them are majestic, with strong and boundless aura, surrounded by bright divine light, and Ruatia is transpiring. Without exception, they are three of the top 10 sequences of the Wangi family who have heard the word this time. The leader is a person with sword eyebrows and star eyes, with a majestic face, wearing a silver armor, exuding brilliant silver light, like a god of war in silver armor. This person is the fifth sequence of the younger generation of the Yi family, named Yi Changqiang, and he can determine the country with the spear in his hand, armed with the Taoist body of a silver dragon and entered the world with a long spear. He has killed 7 in and 7 out in an ancient battlefield, and no one can beat him. There is also a Yi family Tianjiao who holds a long sword in his hand, with a flash of sword energy in his eyes. He is flying across the world. This person's name is Yi Changge, the sixth sequence of the Yi family in the past, and a well-known Tianjiao, but when it comes to strength and momentum, it is far inferior to Yi Jianxin, the seed-level arrogance of the Yi family, but it's not bad, and it can be ranked among the top among the younger generation of sword repairers. Apart from those evil monsters who can suppress them in the field of kendo, I am afraid that they are also rare opponents. There is also a woman named Yi Xinxin, who is the seventh sequence of the Yi family. Her hair is as crystal clear as snow and falls loose. She is wearing a palace attire, highlighting her exquisite and delicate body. As for the outermost area of the martial arts stage, there were many Yi family disciples watching. Naturally, the God Emperor's preaching cannot be missed. What's more, there are 3 major sequences of the Yi family in front of them. In the process of epiphany, the 3 major sequences may be able to inspire them and go further. You must know that the leaders of the younger generation of the Yi family currently have 5 seed-level talents, and under the seed Tianjiao, it is the top 10 sequences of the Wangi Yi family. Each of them is a peerless arrogance with a fierce reputation, invincible in the same realm. Whoever picks out any one will be able to win the first place among the younger generation in the eternal immortal territory and stand out from the crowd. This is the horror of the Wangi family. Not only is it rich in heritage, but also everyone in the younger generation is like a dragon. Everyone is detached, overwhelming the heroes, and sweeping the world. Yi Changqiang, Yi Xinxin, and Yi Changge sat cross-legged on the martial arts platform, with solemn expressions, not daring to be careless in the slightest. Runes shrouded the surface of the body, and divine light flashed above the heavenly spirit, as if he was comprehending a wonderful skill. The way of heaven, what is lost is more than what is lacking. There are 3,000 ways, and there are thousands of ways of heaven, and the world is in a state of panic. Everyone can become enlightened. That the voice of the God Emperor, like Huang Zhong Dalu, swept across the martial arts stage, shaking the sky. Majestic, as the God Emperor opened his mouth, various visions also appeared, golden lotuses springing up from the ground, colorful clouds flying, helping people to realize their enlightenment. But at this moment, a discordant voice appeared. My Lord God Emperor, my Lord Mistress, something happened to the young master. Huang Ruoxi came to the martial arts stage, knelt down on one knee, and said with cupped fists. After the words were finished, Yi Junlin and Yu Liuli immediately stopped preaching. Their eyes opened and closed like lightning pierced the sky, and they stared straight at Huang Ruoxi. How's Tian'er? Tell me quickly. That when Yu Liuli heard her son's voice, she was extremely anxious, and even stood up, wanting to go see it quickly. It was Yi Junlin who was more stable and asked softly, but he couldn't suppress his concern. Young master, he can actually practice. Huang Ruoxi said. Hearing this, everyone present took a deep breath. Their pupils were shocked, and the color of surprise overflowed, and they couldn't believe it. This is simply impossible. Not to mention that although Yi Tian is honored as the young master, he is still just a mortal body after all. Being able to awaken the physical body at the age of 3 and officially step into the path of practice, but it will not be so amazing. But what did they hear at this time? It is simply ridiculous that a mere mortal body can practice cultivation at the age of 1. No matter how arrogant one is, one can only wait until the physical development is relatively complete at the age of 3 before he can awaken his physical body and officially step into the path of practice. This is the consensus that children all know. Throughout the ages, there are only 4 or 5 people who can break the rules, but without exception, they are all peak creatures who have achieved the highest level and will live forever. Even Yi Junlin and Yu Liuli couldn't believe what they heard. Their son, Immortal, actually started practicing at the age of 1. They wanted to believe it, but even as the masters of this world, it was beyond their own cognition. How is it possible? The young master is only a 1-year-old child, and still has a mortal body. Why can he cultivate? That's right, and the basis of all cultivation is Kung Fu. Where did the young master get the Kung Fu? Aren't you afraid that the foundation of the Tao will be damaged when you step on the road of practice at the age of 1? But under the martial arts stage, there was a roaring sound, and many young disciples had a heated discussion, which was very shocking, but they didn't quite believe it in their hearts. Could fellow Taoist have hallucinations? At this moment, an exquisite voice sounded, soothing the mind, and it was extremely pleasant to hear. Xinxin stood up and said suspiciously, as the 6th sequence of the Huangdi family, what does the 1-year-old cultivation of the way of nature represent? It represents the potential to achieve the highest in the world, and it is destined to shine and spread its wings, but even with a super physique that defies the sky, it is so difficult and desperate to do it. Even their top 10 sequences, or even the top 5 seed-level Tianjiao, can't do it. They can only obediently wait until they are 3 years old before starting the physical awakening and officially embarking on the road of practice. But at this moment, Yi Junlin spoke, between the flickering eyes. It was like a wise man thinking. After all, Huang Ruoxi made the Dao Dao oath, and she is absolutely loyal to Yi Tian. There should be no lies in what he said, not to mention, facing the current God Emperor and the Holy Master of Yaoqi, even the most powerful people in the world would not dare to tell half a lie. Huang Ruoxi, go and bring Tianer to the martial arts stage. Yi Junlin wanted to verify it himself. If his child, with a mere mortal body, can practice cultivation at the age of 1 without the slightest side effects, the future can be expected, and he will be a true God Emperor. Chapter 53. No longer hide your clumsiness, show your holiness in front of others, the ancient monume. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After a while, Su Qinglian walked gracefully, holding Yi Tian in her arms, and came to the martial arts stage. Go outside the center and put Yi Tian down gently. Although he is only a 1-year-old child, he can speak, and he is known as the Little Devil King, so naturally he doesn't need too much care. Then he knelt down on one knee and respectfully saluted the God Emperor and the Lord of Yaoqi. See Lord God Emperor. See Mistress. No need to be polite, get up quickly. With a flick of Yu Liuli's hand, Su Qinglian was helped up by a miraculous force. After Yi Tian appeared, he immediately attracted the attention of everyone present. Many Yi family disciples below the martial arts stage stared at their young master closely with burning eyes. Among them, many of them have suffered from their own young master and been troubled, but after all, it's a child's heart, and it's just normal to like to play, so I don't care too much about it, but it never occurred to him that a mere mortal body would be able to cultivate. If they hadn't witnessed it with their own eyes, they certainly wouldn't believe it. On weekdays, when playing in some small places in Wang Guye's house, he also relies on the little dragon mount under his crotch, not to mention the 3 major sequences. After seeing Yi Tian, they all bowed down and saluted first. See you, my lord. Yi Tian looked at these 3 talented boys and girls, and he also had some impressions in his mind. In the past, I heard from others that under the 5 great seeds and Tianjiao, there are 10 more sequences. It is naturally not easy for these 3 talented boys and girls to be ranked in the top 10 sequences, so he tiptoed to the side of the 3 of them and looked up. However, because the body is too short, it is very cute to run around and observe. Even the 3 major sequences who have never seen the young master can't help but be moved. Seeing such a cute child, Yi Xinhan's mother's love sprouted in her heart. She squatted down and waved gently. Yi Tian came to his side, and said in a milky voice, Sister, are you the Yi family sequence? My sister is so beautiful, so good-looking. Yi Tian said with a smile, his articulate, sweet smile. Yi Xinhan's heart was about to melt, and she stretched out her slender hands to caress Yi Tian's little face. That's right, sister, I am the 7th series of the Yi family. My name is Yi Xinhan. If my brother likes my sister, I will often come to play with her in the future. For some reason, Yi Xinxin fell in love with Yi Tian when he saw him. What's more, Yi Tian's few words just now won Yi Xinxin's great favor. System. I really thought the system's Taoist attraction mode was just for fun. With the blessing of the road attraction mode, even the high-cold fairies and the ice-cold empress will develop a certain degree of affection for Yi Tian the moment they see Yi Tian. Seeing that their young master is so lovable, Su Qinglian and Huang Ruoxi, for some reason, felt as if they had eaten lemons, and a sour feeling arose in their hearts. Seeing how lovable her child was, Yu Liuli naturally smiled. It seems, there is no need to worry about their talent dying out. My own son, who is only 1 year old, has such a talent for flirting with girls, so why worry about not being prosperous in the future? But back to the topic, seeing that Yi Tian is safe and sound, and his body is crystal clear, like jade, Ying can still see the inscriptions on the runes. Yu Liuli and Yi Junlin looked at each other, and could see the shock in each other's pupils. My child may really know how to practice. Moreover, practicing at the age of 1 without any side effects and without damaging the foundation, this is simply a genius in the sky, a rare thing in the world. Throughout the ages, only 4 or 5 people were able to practice before the age of 3, but without exception, at the beginning, they all need to pay a huge price. Even Yi Junlin, who was as strong as the God Emperor, had the patriarch of the Yi family stand aside and bathe him in a big cauldron, soaked in the blood of fierce beasts and various elixir when he was practicing at the age of 1. But my son is practicing in the bedroom, and there is no one around him to protect him. Yi Junlin didn't dare to think about it. The more he thought about it, the more terrifying he became. He was so shocked. Tianer, I heard what Huang Ruoxi said. He is only 1 year old. Can he cultivate now? That Yu Liuli asked with concern. Her voice was gentle, and her words were full of maternal love. Yi Tian nodded on the surface, but he was displeased in his heart, and secretly said, Huang Ruoxi can't keep a secret at all, and it's too disappointing. He actually told his parents. If that's the case, it's fine. He even let so many children of the Yi family know. In this way, how can he act in a low-key manner? This baby just wants to show off. Don't you guys have to force me to show my holiness in front of others. Hey. Yu Liuli hugged Yi Tian into her arms, and kissed that chubby cheek. Tianer, since you can cultivate, you must be at the first level. How about your physical strength? Why don't you show it, so that parents can rest assured, rest assured. Yi Tian pouted and shook his head. He doesn't want to be so high-profile, regardless of his small arms and legs. If he swung his arm and punched out according to the system's estimation, he might have the strength of 1,000 caddies. If it shows up, it will be regarded as a monster by everyone. No, it's too pretentious. It's not Yi Tian's style of doing things. Yu Liuli saw that her youngest son was a ghost, and she even wanted to fool him, so he took out his trump card and said softly, My dear boy, as long as you show it, Mother will promise you that if you have a chance in the future, I will take you to play in the holy land of Yaoqi. When Yi Tian heard this, his eyes lit up. What he longs for the most is to wander freely. Although Yi Wangu's Yi family is extremely spacious, there will always be a day when he will finish exploring, and it will not be too far away. It would be too boring if he stayed at one guy's house when he was a teenager. Since my mother can take me to play in the holy land of Yaoqi, why not just promise once? Yi Tian nodded to Yu Liuli, and said crisply, Mother, don't lie to me, or else I won't talk to you from now on. Seeing that her son was so cute, Yu Liuli couldn't help laughing, pinched her little face. Mother will do what she says. Yi Tian was helpless. If that was the case, he could only reveal it shallowly, but you still have to hide your clumsiness. You can't reveal it all at once, and you have to know everything about it, and many disciples below are also looking forward to it. Is the young master really going to reveal his cultivation achievements? I don't know whether it was a farce or a shocking miracle. Most of the Yi family's children just thought they were watching a joke. He muttered in his heart, TCH, it's just a 1-year-old child, what kind of storm can it cause? What's more, it's just a mortal body, and being able to cultivate is simply a dream, without any credibility. Even if the body is awakened at the age of 3, it is at best the power of a mortal. And some of the Tianjiao disciples didn't dare to blink their eyes. They stared closely, for fear of missing any details. Yi Changqiang, Yichanga and Xinxin's three major disciples were all watching seriously, but he was still very skeptical in his heart, even though he had heard rumors about the young master earlier. But to be able to practice at the age of 1, and still be a mere mortal body, is too ridiculous, but the answer is about to be revealed. Just take a closer look. Yu Liuli nodded to Yi Junlin. The God Emperor Yi Junlin shot it with one hand, the sky exploded, the abyss emerged, and the space collapsed, unable to bear the power of heaven. Then a simple and unsophisticated stone tablet fell straight down and landed on the martial arts platform. It exudes an ancient and vast atmosphere, as if it is a masterpiece of a god. On the stone tablet, there are runes and laws, which are extremely mysterious. You can vaguely see 4 large characters engraved on it. Taixuan Ancient Monument. Could this be the legendary ancient monument of Taixuan? The fetish of the reckless era is indeed in the hands of the God Emperor. Many disciples exclaimed, looking at the stone tablet on the martial arts platform. They seem to have seen a miracle. Chapter 54 Taixuan Ancient Monument, Flesh Body Shocking Talent, One Punch Supernatural Power. You are listening at novelfull.audio. My Lord God Emperor is really pampering me. That's right, even the ancient monument of Taixuan was taken out. The goddess monument of the reckless era is said to have descended from beyond the chaos, and even the Emperor of God cannot destroy it. The far-sighted and far-sighted disciple of the Yi family said, his eyes filled with astonishment, obviously, I didn't expect that. Even the fetishes of the Monghuang era can be seen today, and all of this is just for the God Emperor to let his son test his cultivation. Some disciples murmured inwardly, oh, taking out the ancient Taixuan stele is really a bit overkill. The young master is just a 1-year-old child with a mortal body. It is unknown whether he has no physical strength. It is a waste of resources to take out the ancient Taixuan monument now. It is better to let the 5 seed-level talents train. Of course, they just dare to think about it in their hearts. After all, he is his own young master, so he must not be disrespectful at all, not to mention the God Emperor. Whoever dares to say a word of no will definitely be severely punished on the spot. Some skeptical disciples didn't dare to reveal it even though they didn't believe it, and, as their own young masters, even if they didn't detect physical strength later, they would definitely have to praise him. Yi Changxiang, Yi Changa, and Yi Xinxin looked at each other. Even their top 10 sequences and 5 seed-level geniuses used the martial arts steel prepared by the Wangyi family to test their physical talent. As for the legendary Taixuan ancient stele, it has never been seen before. I thought it was a legend and it didn't exist at all, but I didn't expect it to be in the hands of the God Emperor. The God Emperor is really willing to spend all his money for his own son. I just don't know if this 1-year-old child can surprise the God Emperor. That's why everyone focused their attention on Yi Tian's small body, and Yi Tian also jumped out of Yu Liuli's embrace, striding his calves, twisting and twisting. He arrived in front of the ancient monument of Taixuan, but for some reason, this ancient monument of Taixuan always gave him a sense of familiarity. Yi Tian shook his head. Didn't think much, maybe it was just an illusion, I thought to myself, based on everyone's reaction. This Taixuan ancient stele is nothing ordinary. Father is also true, isn't it just to test a physical talent? As for such a big fanfare, he can't keep a low profile even if he wants to. However, even the 3 major sequences are here, let alone there are so many Yi family children. I can't be too shocking, so I can use half of my strength. Under the attention of everyone, Yi Tian dragged his small body to the front of the ancient monument of Taixuan. The Taixuan ancient stele, like a pillar of heaven standing between the sky and the earth, stands tall and suppresses the sky and the earth. Yi Tian was like a weak ant in front of him, as if the wind could blow him down. Yi Tian's pupils were shining, and he stretched out his small hand. Feeling the ancient monument of Taixuan, the runes flowed, radiant, exuding a boundless aura of chaos. As if the chaos had reappeared, it was extremely terrifying, and it gave people a lot of pressure. In addition to the Taixuan ancient stele, there are countless images of ferocious beasts, such as green dragons and white tigers, red birds and basalts, and gluttonous monsters, which are extremely terrifying and lifelike. His eyes were fierce, as if he was staring at Xiao Yetian. Fortunately, Yi Tian was a human being in the second life, with a stable soul, but he couldn't help but feel creepy. If other children of the same age had come and seen this scene, they would have been so scared that they would pee their pants. However, even so, it has attracted everyone's attention. The son of the God Emperor is really extraordinary. Facing the ancient monument of Taixuan in this wild era, even the young Tianjiao like me is horrified. That's right, the son of the God Emperor, he just had a little timidity, but he didn't retreat. He is only a 1-year-old child, and he has such a heart. It's a pity that he is a mortal body. If he has a super physique and such a heart, his future achievements will be limitless. Some disciples of the Yi family said with emotion. On the one hand, they were amazed at the character of their young master, but on the other hand, they regretted his physique. I only hate the sky, don't open your eyes. But despite thinking this way, everyone's eyes did not leave Yi Tian half a step. Even Yi Junlin and Yu Liuli didn't blink, and Yi Tian took a deep breath, let it out slowly, and opened his eyes suddenly. Although he is only a 1-year-old child with a short stature, he can vaguely see an invincible force. Immediately, he raised his small fist, not even half the size of a steamed bun. This scene was extremely funny, but the scene was very tense, and no one dared to speak a word for a 1-year-old mortal child to be able to cultivate. It is considered a miracle. If the strength of the physical body is astonishing, how shocking it will be. I can't believe it, but no one was optimistic about it. Most of the Yi family's children thought that their young master might just go up and scratch the Taixuan ancient monument. Yi Tian circulated the power of his physical body, and the meridians in his body flashed with aura, as if he was about to explode with the power to sweep the prehistoric world. There is no earth-shattering aura and no world-shattering visions when he punches out. It's just an ordinary punch, but this punch was firmly bombarded on the ancient monument of Taixuan. There wasn't much shock, and there wasn't much sensation. Yi Tian retracted his fist and shook his head. It seemed that he still trusted the dog system too much, but it's okay, you can still do things in a low-key way on your own. There is no need to show your holiness in front of people, and deliberately pretend to be forceful, and many disciples also sighed for a while. They thought it was a shocking event. It seems that mortal wants to step into the road of cultivation at the age of 1, which is no different from a dream. The two maids, Huang Ruoxi and Su Qinglian, were dumbfounded. No, they have witnessed the young master's cultivation. No matter how weak the physical strength is, it is not impossible to attract the slightest movement on the ancient Taixuan steel. Buzz. But when everyone was wondering, the ancient Taixuan steel suddenly made a buzzing sound, like a sharp sword about to be unsheathed, shaking the whole field. On the ancient monument of Taixuan, ancient runes surged, as if he had sensed something. There were the mournful cries of gods and demons, and the roars of ferocious beasts emerged, as if they were peerless, making people weep. Yi Junlin's eyes flashed, piercing through the void, looking at the ancient monument of Taixuan with great seriousness. The same is true for Yu Liuli. Sure enough, after 3 breaths, the ancient Taixuan steel shone with divine light, and a row of numbers appeared in the center of the steel. Yi Tian, the power of 1 punch is 500 caddies. The big golden characters reflected off, dazzling like the sun. It's just what everyone didn't expect was that a mere 1-year-old child with a mortal body actually possessed a huge strength of 500 caddies. Looking at the dazzling big characters, the entire martial arts arena was silent, and a needle could be heard. Even some of the Yi family's children who were going to brag before were quiet, not knowing what to say. Afterwards, there was an uproar, and heated discussions broke out among the people. A miracle on earth. This is a miracle on earth. It just blinded my titanium alloy dog eyes. 1-year-old, and still a mortal body. 1 punch can have 500 caddies of divine power. This is simply a freak. No, this is an eternal monster. Who knows how he did it? Countless Yi family disciples stared wide-eyed in astonishment, unable to believe it, as if they were dreaming. No, even in a dream, don't dare to do this. Chapter 55. Surprised as a heavenly man, surpassing the past and the present. Tianjiao is unstable. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Even Yi Junlin, the God Emperor of the world, and Yu Liuli, the holy master of Yaoqi, were dumbfounded. His pupils were shocked, his eyes filled with astonishment, and he could hardly believe what he saw and heard. Their children can really practice cultivation. And, unexpectedly, at the age of 1, he was able to rely on his own mortal body. With 1 punch, 500 caddies. This. I'm not mistaken, is this still the young master? God, this is a mortal body, this is a fucking 1-year-old child. Break through 500 caddies with one punch, who else can do it throughout the ages? Even those 4 or 5 supreme beings who can practice before the age of 3 will never be able to do so. Many Yi family children were dumbfounded, they couldn't imagine what they saw. Snapped. Some Yi family disciples even slapped him across the face, and only after feeling the pain did he realize that he was not dreaming. It's not that he's crazy, it's that the world is crazy. A 1-year-old child with a mortal body can burst out 500 caddies of divine power with one punch. It simply overturned his understanding of practice. Not only that, even the 3 major sequence children were still shocked, although there was no overreaction or excessive words. The shock in the pupils could not be concealed no matter what. Xinxin trembled even more delicately, looking at the young master Tian before the ancient Taixuan steel. It is simply not the same as the little child who was touched by me just now. Chang'e and Changjiang looked at each other. You can even feel the impatience of the other party's heartbeat. Son of the God Emperor, so terrifying. After a long time, Chang'e sighed softly. A mortal body, and only 1-year-old, has stepped into the road of cultivation, and the physical talent is so terrifying, shocking the world. But when it comes to the degree of surprise in the heart, everyone present must be the God Emperor Yi Junlin and the Holy Master of Yao Qi Yuliuli. Maybe other people don't have any idea about cultivating before the age of 3 and having a physical strength of 500 caddies, because they have never experienced it personally, but Yi Junlin is very clear, knowing that this is harder than climbing to the sky. No, it is much harder than turning back the years. Throughout the ages, only 4 or 5 people were able to break the routine and practice cultivation before the age of 3, and his God Emperor Yi Junlin is naturally one of them. But in the era that belonged to him alone, he was a super genius who made all the stars lose their brilliance. Carrying the body of the immortal king of absolute beginning, he almost killed the Tianjiao of that era, that is the arrogance of all the heavens and all races. In the darkest era, even the freaks who have recovered from the ancient times have to retreat again, seal themselves, and do not want to compete with Yi Junlin, because they know they can't compete. It's better to be more knowledgeable and wait for the next golden world to be born again and achieve the highest position. But even so, as the current God Emperor, when he was 1-year-old, he only possessed 300 caddies of physical power. Now, my son is just a mortal body, even though he has inherited his God Emperor blood. He has not yet awakened. According to common sense, you can't even practice cultivation. The strength of your body is no different from that of a mortal child, but the scene that happened in front of him made him have to believe it. It was too weird, and Yuliuli also lightly covered Tan's mouth, feeling a little too exaggerated. But they never doubted the authenticity of the ancient Taixuan steel. This is a fetish of the reckless era, and it has long been a legend. Even Yi Junlin found it at a huge price. On weekdays, he treats it like a treasure. But if it wasn't for today, his child would definitely not take it out if he wanted to undergo a physical test. That is to say, Yi Junlin's child, even if he is immortal, is only 1-year-old. But in terms of physical body, it has already surpassed his achievements in the past. Fortunately, Yi Junlin didn't know all of Yi Tian's physical strength. If you know that Yi Tian's punch actually has 1,000 caddies of divine power, I'm afraid I have to doubt whether I am a God Emperor with extraordinary talent. Some of the Yi family's children who thought they were very talented all bowed their heads silently at this moment. Taixuan was a little unstable, and he had great doubts about himself. If a 1-year-old child with a mortal body has such terrifying physical strength, the physical awakening at the age of 3 will go one step further. At that time, who can compete with people of the same age? Even those saints' sons, dragon sons, princes and others with super physiques may have to look up to them and not be able to catch up. Some Yi family disciples deeply doubted, what is their practice all these years? Could it be that all these years of practice have been practiced on dogs? Although they are not super physiques, and they are not the arrogance of the focus of training, they also enjoy abundant resources and top talents. But if they are both 1-year-old, they might not even be able to take a slap from the young master, Huang Ruoshi, who was previously suspected by everyone and thought that what she said did not match the facts, now proudly raised her head. Her eyes were bright, like a proud swan. Looking at all the Yi family children, no one dared to look at them. he secretly laughed in his heart. You still don't believe what I said before. Look, the young master is a veritable peerless genius, far surpassing his peers. What about a mortal body? It's still invincible. And Yi Tian himself, with small hands and feet, stood in place, not knowing what to do. He didn't expect such a big commotion. Moreover, this is the first time that people have manifested themselves in front of people. I didn't expect that everyone's ability to bear it was so poor. Isn't it 500 caddies with one punch? What's so surprising about this? One must know that not only did he not use his full strength, he also did not double his physical body with the phoenix bracers. Otherwise, one punch is 1,000 caddies, plus 15 times the double. With one punch, it has, caddies of divine power. And he is still only 1 year old, a little mortal with mediocre talents. If it is revealed, the entire eternal immortal territory and even the heavens and myriad worlds will be shocked by it. A 1-year-old doll with a mortal body can have a punch of, Gene. No one dares to guess what level he can reach in the physical body field in the future, because the potential of the physical body is unlimited. No one knows where the end point is. Tianer, let father have a look. Yi Junlin and Yu Liuli stepped forward and came to Yi Tian's body. The two looked delighted at first, lamenting that their son turned out to be an invincible arrogance. He was able to practice at only 1 year old, and he punched 500 caddies with one punch. But then I worry about whether the foundation of the Tao and the body are worry-free. The two started their hands on Yi Tian, and found that their child did not show any signs of fundamental damage, but the meridians were as thick as a dragon, full of energy and blood. Although it is only a 1-year-old child, its body is no different from that of a 3-year-old child, and even far surpasses it. Although Tianer is just a mortal body, in terms of physical body, it seems that there is no one before or since. If you can't achieve the highest level of magic in the future, then become a physical cultivator that shakes the world, hold the sun and the moon and pick the stars. Chapter 56. The physical body is shocking to the world, with a big secret in his body, and he has ACC. You are listening at novelfull.audio. As long as the child can grow up with peace of mind, it's enough. Why do you always try to put pressure on the child? Yu Liuli snorted coldly, her phoenix eyes turned up slightly, quite complaining. Could it be that their Wangyi family in Yaoqi Holy Land can still let their children sit back and relax? God Emperor Yi Junlin smiled naively, like a loving father, holding Yi Tian foolishly, loving his child very much, touching Yi Tian's chubby little face. He didn't seem to be as tall and majestic as before. Although the God Emperor is not cold and extraordinary on weekdays, he is also extremely busy and sees his head and tail, even. It doesn't appear often in the Wangyi family. They often fight in the extraterritorial world, entangle with the restricted area of life and chaos, and exchange for long-term peace for the heavens and the world. But after the young master was born, the God Emperor completely pacified the Blood Sea Forbidden Area, one of the 9 life forbidden areas, in just a few days. It can be seen from this that the extent to which the God Emperor and the Lord of Yaoqi spoiled this child is simply beyond everyone's imagination. The young master also lived up to everyone's expectations. He was only 1 year old, and even though he was only a mortal body, he was able to step into the path of cultivation, and he showed extraordinary physical and divine power. With one punch, there is a force of 500 caddies, which simply surpasses the pride of ancient and modern times. I'm afraid, even the immortal saint physique and Taixuan overlord physique will be slapped flat, and Yi Tian was in Yi Junlin's arms, a little speechless, as if he was doubting his life. Shui Lingling's big eyes were blinking. This feeling of being watched by everyone is not very good. It's better to keep a low profile, lie down obediently, and be invincible in sneaking, but I had already kept an eye out, and only used ordinary physical strength. But they didn't expect that the psychological endurance of the disciples of the Wangyi family was so poor. If many Yi family Tianjiao knew what Yi Tian was thinking, they might be so angry that they would vomit blood. It's really not that they are psychologically weak, but that you, young master, are too heaven-defying. How can a 1-year-old mortal punch 500 caddies with one punch? Cultivating before the age of 3, throughout the ages, only 4 or 5 people can do it. Even Yi Junlin, the strongest God Emperor in the world, can only punch 300 caddies at the age of 1, but Yi Junlin and Yu Liuli looked at each other, and there was an imperceptible flash of light in his eyes. their children are really extraordinary. Absolutely holds a big secret, which is not noticed by others. It is impossible for a mortal body to punch 500 caddies, only with a big secret and great luck, can it be possible to do it. Otherwise, he would have never been so heaven-defying with the body of the immortal king in the absolute beginning. But, this is Yi Junlin's son, there is no doubt about it, even if he has a secret. It is his own chance and there is no need to investigate. Since the child has entered the path of practice, let him go on. The strength of the physical body can reach such a level, even if I was back then, I still feel ashamed. God Emperor Yi Junlin smiled and shook his head, but it was a gratifying smile. His own child is just a mortal body, so he can be so heaven-defying. If it is a special physique, wouldn't it be to overthrow the world? However, in matters of cultivation, you must not act hastily, otherwise, 1,000-mile ant den. Tianjiao is only 1 year old now. Since he has such physical talent, he must lay a solid foundation and stabilize his foundation. Use these 2 years to develop your physical body to the extreme and refine it to the limit, Yulioli said, with a solemn expression, and hugged Yi Tian into her arms. It's okay. During the 2 years, you must not break through to the blood. When everyone heard it, they were quite incredible. According to the meaning of the mistress, it is to let the young master accumulate a lot of money and soar into the sky. In the past 2 years, he has acted in a low-key manner, and if he does not make a sound, he will be a blockbuster. After the physical body is awakened at the age of 3, one officially enters the second realm of practice, the realm of awakening. In this way, even if the young master is no better than other Tianjiao in terms of supernatural powers and spells in the future, but you can also use your own extreme physical body to fight with it. After all, a mortal body with such a perfect physical body will surely be able to achieve the great power of physical cultivation with the sun, the moon, and the stars in his hands in the future. As for the 2 years, they will spend a lot of resources to cultivate carefully. Since Yi Tian has the talent in this area, it is even more important for everyone to cultivate it. Of course, everything is subject to Yi Tian's wishes. If the child is unhappy, then practice with a hammer instead of practicing. At this moment, Yi Junlin was relieved and his eyes were burning. He looked at Yi Tian in Yulioli's arms, and loved him very much. What about mortal bodies? Mortal bodies can also be invincible. Mortal bodies can still blow up the gods and demons. In the past 2 years, even with the accumulation of resources, they also want to pile Yi Tian into a mortal body that surpasses super physique. The disciples of the 3 major sequences looked at the scene in front of them, feeling so unreal. Yi Changde shook his head again and again, unable to believe it. And Yi Changqiang, as the strongest existence among the 3, naturally has a much better mentality than the other 2, but he also stretched out his hand, looked at his palm, and said silently, could it be that the practice of these years has really been cultivated on dogs? Even a mere mortal body can achieve this level. But we have a super physique and poor cultivation, but we are still complacent and disregard the way of heaven. Yi Changqiang's eyes were gloomy, his heart was clouded with dust, and he even doubted himself. Seeing that the situation was not good, Yi Xinxin wanted to remind her, but before it was too late, Yi Changqiang suddenly reacted. His eyes were bright, and his body was shrouded in a faint light. Ha ha ha, I understand. The young master has a mortal body, but he still perseveres and can burst out with such divine power. Wait, why not work hard? Practice, don't be impetuous and conceited. Yi Changqiang was as happy as a child at the moment, with a happy smile and a clear heart. Immediately, he bowed respectfully to Yi Tian to express his gratitude to the young master for helping him realize the Tao. When Yi Tian saw this scene, he was calm on the surface, just laughing, really like a simple child, but the heart is really speechless. The family members don't understand. I really don't know what happened. You are a disciple of sequence, shouldn't you enlighten yourself? It's none of my business. If you let Yi Changqiang know, Yi Tian didn't achieve 500 caddies with one punch through hard work. Instead, laying down and laying flat, I don't know what a wonderful expression it will have. At the same time, news has already spread to the outside world. A merchant ship straddling the sun and the moon, shining with luster, made of gold, like a star. On the deck, Yi Xinxin was wearing a long skirt, her clothes fluttering. Her figure was slender and extremely charming, her legs were slender and tall, and her snowy feet were gently supported by Xinxin. But on that beautiful face, there was a look of surprise. What? My cousin can practice. And he's an unparalleled genius in the physical body. He's only 1 year old, and he punches 500 pounds. Chapter 57, Yi Xinxin is shocked, her body is immortal grass. Yi Jingang was surprised. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yi Xinxin was shocked when she heard this, her phoenix eyes were full of puzzlement, she couldn't figure it out, although her cousin's understanding was amazing, he was unmatched in the field of alchemy and kendo, even Yi Jianxin, the #1 swordsman of the younger generation, and Yi Dan, the master of alchemy, cannot compare with it, but she didn't understand that Yi Tian was just a mortal body. How could he step on the road of cultivation at the age of 1, and, at the age of 1, the strength of one punch reached 500 caddies, not even those monstrous arrogances of ancient times could do it. My cousin is really not simple, he has a big secret, but he smiled immediately, his cousin's blessings are not shallow, and naturally it is also the blessing of the Wangyi family, so there is no need to explore, but Yi Xinxin came to her senses again. In this way, she lost the bet he made with this lovely brother. Ha ha ha, this little guy is really surprising. Yi Xinxin smiled, lightly and charmingly, extremely charming, if you take a look at it from a distance, you will be amazed, and you will never forget it in your life. The world is stunning, as it should be. Who is she, the dignified chairman of the Tianjiao Chamber of Commerce, who has created such a foundation? I have been gambling for half my life, and I rarely lose. Otherwise I would not have created the Tianjiao Chamber of Commerce covering all the heavens and myriad worlds, even beyond the chaos. There are traces of the Tianjiao Chamber of Commerce, but, today I lost, and he still lost to a little doll whose hair didn't even grow. This kind of frustration is unique, but she also smiled, and was more interested in her little brother who was only 1 year old. He thought in his heart that he would go back to Wang Guye's house more often in the future, and deal more with this cute little brother. Since this is the case, there is no need to use that dark method to obtain a super physique for Yi Tian. Now that the bet has been lost, and the young master has stepped into the path of cultivation at only 1 year old, it will not be too bad compared to the future, but as Yi Tian's cousin and the president of Tianjiao Chamber of Commerce, he is rich and powerful, so he must prepare good gifts, in order to ensure the growth of his cousin. Come here. After Yi Xinxin finished speaking, 2 black figures appeared in the void behind her, like ghosts. It seems that just now it has been integrated into the space and cannot be detected. They are all Yi Xinxin's exclusive private forces, named Black Shadow Soldiers. There have been rumors for a long time that the mysterious president of Tianjiao Chamber of Commerce has an exclusive force, all dressed in black, with prominent cultivation bases, which can stir up a situation in the outside world and are extremely powerful. They are Yi Xinxin's dead men, and they specialize in doing things for Yi Xinxin that are inconvenient to show up. Otherwise, Tianjiao Chamber of Commerce can be so strong and still stand tall. Why can the president not be targeted by the enemy? On the one hand, Yi Xinxin's own strength is the reason, and on the other hand, it must be attributed to the Black Shadow Soldiers. It is said that there is a kind of divine grass in the eternal immortal realm, called the grass of immortality. It is rumored that if a child can get it by chance and swallow it, it can guarantee the immortality of the body. Taixuan domineering body. Yi Xinxin's voice was gloomy, and she seemed to be a different person, and her eyes became extremely sharp, making one feel like falling into an ice cave. The 2 black shadow warriors kneeling and looking at each other. This is no small task. The body immortality grass not only has extraordinary effects on children, but even old people who are about to decay are extremely greedy. It can guarantee the immortality of one's own body, that is, another kind of longevity. Who doesn't want such a fetish? But the number is extremely rare, and it is less than the number of hands in the entire eternal immortal domain. This makes them where to start. Even if it is to assassinate a master of immortal power, they can do it, but the search for the immortal grass really made it difficult for them. Seeing the distressed faces of the 2 shadow soldiers, Yi Xinxin's eyes were cold. And the biting cold made the 2 people below tremble. What? My order doesn't work. Yi Xinxin said softly. The words were quite flat, without the slightest threat, but when it fell into the ears of the 2 black shadow warriors, it was like a thunderbolt, and the 2 were sweating like a light on their backs. My subordinates dare not. Why don't you go find it soon? No matter what method you use, whether you go to the fairyland to find it, or go to the families of the major holy lands to snatch it, you must bring me back the immortal grass, otherwise you will come to see me. Xinxin said in a cold voice, like 10,000 years of ice, piercing and majestic. The two black shadow warriors, with cold sweat on their foreheads, were extremely frightened, and quickly hid in the void, away from this place, and went to look for the immortal grass, because they know what punishment they will face if they cannot find it. It may be light to bring up the head to see. After all, the young president of the Tianjiao Chamber of Commerce is not as harmless to humans and animals as he appears on the surface, otherwise he would not have developed the Tianjiao Chamber of Commerce to such an extent. Xinxin looked into the distance, her phoenix eyes sparkled, and Yi Tian's small figure appeared in her mind. This little guy really surprised him too much. As a gambler, he was defeated by a child. Immediately she smiled. She was also happy to lose this time, being able to step into the path of cultivation at the age of 1, with such achievements, plus the 2 talents of alchemy and swordsmanship. Her little brother is not ordinary. As long as she can find the immortal grass for the physical body, she has the confidence to make Yi Tian's physical body a step further, even far surpassing those super-physical physiques. Immortal saint physique, Taixuan overlord physique are nothing more than mediocre, but in the Wandiyi family, within a palace, it is magnificent and resplendent, showing how noble the palace master is. The young master's physical talent is simply shocking and invincible. In the center of the palace, there is a strong Tianjiao who is waving his fists and feet, bold and unrestrained, with a strong figure and knotted muscles, like an ancient beast. A punch blasted out, and a sonic boom sounded in the void, echoing for a long time. At the same time, he murmured, his eyes couldn't hide his surprise at all. This person is the 4th sequence among the top 10 sequences of the Yi family, Yi Jingang, who possesses the divine body of King Kong. In terms of strength and talent, he is better than Yi Changge, Yi Changqiang, and Yi Xinhan, and in terms of physical body, among the top 10 sequences of the Yi family, there are very few who can compare with it. Vajra divine body, the blood is boiling, the whole person is like a wild beast. The physical body can reach the extreme, ranking high among the 3,000 physiques. Although it is not as good as the immortal ancient saint physique and Taixuan overlord physique, they are still famous and no one dares to underestimate them. In addition, the cultivation of his own supernatural powers is also quite good. It doesn't make sense to rank 4th among the top 10 sequences, but at this time, he was restless, his brows were twisted into twists, unable to practice with peace of mind, as if he was troubled. After a long time, he sighed and walked towards the outside of the hall, as if to solve his doubts. What kind of freak is the young master? A mortal body, at the age of 1 year, is actually stronger than us, who specialize in the flesh body. You must go to visit and study it carefully, otherwise the Tao heart will be damaged, and my Tao will stop. Chapter 58. The baby is here. Enjoy the world. Yi Jingang visits. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Surrounded by brilliance, the fairy light sprinkles, and the scorching sun shines overhead, and Yi Tian was enjoying a luxurious and voluptuous life in his bedroom. The head is resting on the 2 tall mountains of Huangruoshi. It is very warm and soft, and there is a scent of milk, which is very refreshing and enjoyable, and Huangruoshi also likes this little master very much, dotes on her very much, and does her best to serve her. With slender fingers like green onions, she peeled off the outer skin of the spiritual fruit and fed it into Yi Tian's small mouth with her own hands. There is also a can of milky white milk beside him. Yi Tian is thirsty, just stretch out his hand to do it. Who wouldn't yearn for this kind of life? Even a talented genius of the same age would not dare to be so slack. As the young master of a faction, he must shoulder heavy responsibilities, and never forget about cultivation and family affairs. On the contrary, Yi Tian is a good kid, let him go, don't care about his cultivation path, or his family affairs. With an invincible background, it is better to enjoy it obediently. Not long after, Yi Tian hiccuped, narrowed his eyes, buried his head into the mountain in front of Huangruoshi's chest, and was about to take a nap comfortably. This life is his pursuit. Xuanhuan stroked the back of Yi Tian's head lightly. There was no trace of embarrassment or anger on that beautiful face, but she was extremely happy. I thought in my heart, hey, the little master is really exhausted during this time. I just finished eating the spirit fruit and I'm going to take a nap. That's right, he stepped into the path of cultivation at the age of only 1 year old, and his physical talent is extremely high, even the current God Emperor can't compare with him, and his future achievements will be limitless. It's a pity that it is a mortal body, otherwise, what kind of waves will be caused in the eternal fairyland, no one dares to imagine. Thinking of this, Huang Ruoxi felt that his little master was hiding something, but it was also extremely hard work. Sigh, as the young master of the Wangui family, he is still a mere mortal, yet he is so valued. For the sake of the Yi family's future, he even forced himself to step into the path of cultivation at the age of 1. It was not easy for the little master, such a spirit is simply a role model for my generation. Even Su Qinglian, who was at the side, was slightly moved, thinking of the difficulty of the little master in her heart. Looking at the little master who had already fallen asleep, sleeping soundly, Su Qinglian gently stroked Yi Tian's chubby face. The little master is really working too hard. At first I thought it was just a mortal body, so I gave up cultivation, but I didn't expect him to fumble and practice in the bedroom alone while I was waiting to go out to practice. Just like that, the two maids looked at each other, their hearts moved, and they felt that the child was too hardworking and diligent, and he was not decadent because of his mortal body. If Yi Tian knew what the two of them were thinking, he would definitely laugh out loud. He just wanted to lie flat. Didn't he just take part in a physical test? It was only 500 caddies with 1 punch, and he didn't use his full strength, and he was actually compensated by his 2 good maids, turning him into a hardworking young master of the Yi family by making him a bad boy. Not long after, Yi Tian was still sound asleep, which was unexpected. It's just a 1-year-old child, but the snoring sound is like thunder. Huang Ruoxi smiled wryly, thinking that Yi Tian was too tired to participate in physical training, but there was a shout from outside the door. Yi Jingang, the 4th sequence of the Wangui family, come to pay homage to the young master. Okay. This Yi Jingang possesses the Vajra divine body and ranks 4th in the Yi family's top 10 series. His strength is extraordinary, and he acts boldly and unrestrainedly, like a wild beast. This kind of Tianjiao has painstakingly cultivated, tempered his body, and socialized less. Normally, he would not take the initiative to pay homage to others. Why did he come to pay homage to the young master today? Huang Ruoxi said softly, a trace of doubt flashed in her phoenix eyes. It seems to want to figure out why. Don't think about it too much. Although this Yi Jingang has the body of the Vajra god, his physical body is strong, comparable to fierce beasts. But compared to the young master, it is still like the 9-day true dragon compared to the weeds on the roadside, and the vast sun compared to the stars in the sky. I must have heard that the young master's mortal body can punch 500 caddies with 1 punch. I want to come to worship and find out why the young master's physical body is so powerful. Su Qinglian was logical and thorough in her analysis. She was wearing a black silk dress, which accentuated her figure to the fullest. Her snow-white jade legs were like green bamboo, and Yi Tian seemed to be awakened by the thunderous voice outside the door. His sleepy eyes opened slightly. The 2 maids who came into view were looking at him with concern. Their red lips were bright, and their watery eyes were full of his peerless beauty. System, ahem, please be more serious with the host. After your little bird grows up to be a big one, he can do whatever he wants. But you are still too young to stand at attention, facing the system's complaints. Yi Tian was speechless. Is it okay to make him YY? Doesn't he know that his little KK is indeed incapable of combat at present? What's the matter? Who's shouting? Yi Tian squinted his eyes and said to the 2 maids as if he was still awake. Huang Ruoxi told the truth. Yi Tian woke up immediately. He already understood the cause and effect in his heart. It is probably this martial idiot who heard that he has such a high performance at the age of 1, because he is mere mortal body, so he wants to come and study. After all, this Yi Jingang possessed the Vajra divine body, coupled with his rough personality. He was a reckless man, so he didn't have so many red tapes, but yelled directly outside the bedroom. Yi Tian made a gesture to get out of bed. Huang Ruoxi lightly lifted the hem of her skirt, quickly knelt down on her knees, lowered her head to put on shoes for Yi Tian. Go out and see. Yi Tian stretched his calf and was about to go out to see Yi Jingang. With such a bold personality, it would be very interesting to make friends with him. Sure enough, in Yi Tian's mind. Either lie down or play. No wonder he became the little devil king recognized by the Wanyi family. Yi Tian sat down on Xiaolong Linger's back, holding the dragon's horns, as if driving a car. Linger, let's go and see Brother Vajra. Yi Tian's voice is clear and clear, but at the same time, it is unavoidable that the immaturity of a baby is unavoidable, and the little dragon under his crotch was a little speechless. He was sleeping soundly, and he was about to dream that his bloodline evolved again, and the dream was sweet. It was written by the master. At this moment, Linger has a thought in her heart that when her bloodline evolves in the future and becomes the supreme dragon, she will press Yi Tian to her body. She also wants to stand up and be the master, and she can't be ridden all the time. When she is capable in the future, she will be on top. You can't be under the pressure all the time. Well, she was just thinking about it, but what Xiaolong didn't know was that in the future, she would indeed have the opportunity to suppress Yi Tian. Brother King Kong, I'm coming, catch it quickly. Linger is worthy of being a true dragon, and she also has the blood of the chaotic ancestor dragon. Although it has not fully manifested, it is gradually showing its edge. The current speed is even faster than Yi Tian's two maids. In the blink of an eye, Yi Tian was taken out of the palace gate. Yi Tian, a brat, jumped off immediately after seeing Yi Jingang. Fortunately, Yi Jingjin had quick eyes and hands, and he opened his arms to hug Yi Tian. Young master is really courageous. When he was 1 year old, he was so playful, and he was not afraid of life at all. In fact, he was secretly amazed, thinking that the rumors in the Yi family were really good, and his young master was really a brat. Chapter 59. Is it okay to have hands? Dao heart is unstable. This is too shocking, isn't it? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yi Jingang looked at the young master in his arms. He was really as cute as the rumors said. The eyes are watery and the chubby little face looks like it wants to be pinched, and I can't help but play with it. If you grow up, you don't know how many saints and fairies you will be fascinated by. The fact is exactly the same. There is a systematic way of attracting Taoist companions. Even a pure fairy who is as cold as ice will have a good impression after seeing Yi Tian, if there is a deeper contact. I am afraid that they will all become devils with insufficient desires. Hey, what's the matter, clan brother? Yi Tian opened his cute big eyes and asked cutely. Huh? Oh, I remembered. Yi Jingang lost his mind for a moment and didn't even react. Seeing this, he immediately put Yi Tian in front of him, then knelt down on one knee, clasped his fists and said, extremely respectful. Subordinate Yi Jingang, the fourth sequence of the Yi family, see the young master. Young master eternal. What Yi Tian thought in his heart was really good. Take a closer look at the Tianjiao boy in front of him. He is strong, tall, mighty, and extremely domineering. He is like a handsome man in fitness. It's a pity. Are all physical body cultivation reactions so slow? And, it gives people a feeling of simple mind and well-developed limbs, but Yi Tian didn't think too much, stretched out his fleshy little hand, and quickly helped him up. It's just, the height difference between the two is so cute that others can't help laughing when they see it. A child was actually helping a boy Tianjiao who was 8 feet tall. Thank you, young master. My subordinates heard that the young master is a genius of heaven, and with a mortal body, he was able to step on the path of cultivation at the age of 1, which is shocking. And in the physical test of the Taixuan ancient steel, he was able to blast a force of 500 caddies with one punch. Even Lord God Emperor, at the age of 1 year, only weighs 300 caddies per punch. What the young master has done has really made the subordinates dumbfounded, and they dare not speak nonsense, so I come here to pay my respects. At the same time, I hope to get the generous teaching of the young master. Yi Jingang said truthfully, without concealing anything, and directly exposed the purpose of his trip. Yi Tian looked at the simple and honest Yi Jingang with a smile on his face. The rumors were indeed true. Yi Jingang, the god of King Kong, has a simple and rough personality, without much intellect, and devotes himself to cultivating the body, longing for the sanctification of the body, and becoming invincible. If other sequence disciples came, I'm afraid it would be unavoidable to praise him again. Yi Tian also likes to deal with such honest people, and it will help him a lot in the future. Why be polite? There are no other tricks. Practice at the age of 1, and a punch is only a few £100. In fact, just have a hand. Yi Tian spoke bluntly, waved his hands, and said helplessly. After hearing Yi Tian's words, Yi Jingang stood there as if struck by lightning. What? Did he hear correctly? 1 punch is 500 caddies, as long as you have hands. Fuck, where is my hand? Why is my hand missing? If Yi Tian's words spread out of the eternal immortal realm, it will be known by countless Tianjiao. I'm afraid, there will be a frenzy of finding hands, because, they also want to know where their hands are. How could they disappear? Yi Jingang thought Yi Tian was joking, but Yi Tian's chubby little face was extremely innocent. There was no joke. It seemed that he was just describing a trivial matter. Only then did Yi Jingang understand. This kid must have been too shocking. My majestic Vajra body, the 4th sequence of the Wandiyi family, will feel that I have no hands. At this time, the 2 maids, Huang Ruoshi and Su Qinglian, also rushed out, their robes fluttering, their skin white, like fairies in a painting. But after hearing what Yi Tian said, he also froze in place, as if he had been petrified. What did the little master say? He said, 1-year-old punches 500 caddies, as long as you have hands. Even Huang Ruoshi froze in place. She was prepared beforehand, thinking that the little master would speak shockingly and hit other people's hearts, but I never thought that what I said was full of offensive power. As long as they have hands, what about them? Don't they even have hands? As the eldest princess of the ancient Phoenix country, she was also an extremely top arrogance in the past, and she was the absolute leader among the younger generation of the ancient Phoenix country, unmatched by anyone. She is pregnant with the true blood of the Phoenix, and when she was 3 years old in the physical test, she surpassed 1,000 caddies, and she was placed high hopes on it. But when she was 1 year old, she was just a child learning to speak. The same is true for Su Qinglian. For the first time, what the little master said made her, a saint in neon clothes, feel frustrated. By the young master's side, how can I be a maid? She is here to be hit. According to the little master, wouldn't their childhood be wasted? But Yi Tian ignored everyone's reaction, and rejoiced in his heart. Fortunately, I didn't use my full strength at that time, and I didn't use the Phoenix wrist guard. Otherwise, the physical body would increase by 15 times, otherwise it would be a punch of, Jin. Such a natural supernatural power has never existed before. If I let my father know, I would want to slice it and study it. But Yi Tian still made a conservative estimate. When he was 1 year old, he shot with all his strength, and coupled with the physical growth of the Phoenix wrist guard, it would be, Jin. Except for the real dragon cubs, the other great ominous beings will be torn apart in front of him. Yi Jingang had already been beaten to pieces by Yi Tian, and he wanted to come here to ask for experience. Originally, he was a majestic 4th sequence, and it would be embarrassing enough to ask a 1-year-old child for advice. Now he is still being hit by the so-called hand, thinking of money to stabilize the Tao heart. The result is that the Tao heart is not stable. Yi Jingang really wanted to drag the young master into the main hall for another physical examination. With such talent, do you think it is a mortal body? When will mortal physique crush super physique in every aspect? Yi Tian touched his head, smiled resentfully, and seemed to feel embarrassed. System, I would like to respectfully call you, the host, the master of Versailles, the king of invisible pretense. Yi Tian stretched out his chubby little hand, as if holding a candy, immediately opened. Above the palm is a string of wristbands, as if made of jasper pearls, crystal clear, bright and beautiful. It is extraordinary at first glance. Is this the rumored green bead bracelet? Obviously, Yi Jingang, as the 4th sequence of the Wandiyi family, is also a person who knows the goods. I recognize the green bead wristband at a glance. The wrist guard made of green gold, after wearing it, can increase the body size by 3 times, and there is no upper limit. Yi Jingang also didn't expect that such a treasure would be taken out by Yi Tian at will, as if it was worthless. Brother Clan is right, it is the green bead wristband. After wearing it, the physical body can be tripled. Just give it to the clan brother. Chapter 60 Sequence 4 Surrender, Swear Allegiance. You are listening at novelfull.audio. This, young master, do you know what you are talking about? Jingang was dumbfounded, unable to believe what he heard. The young master unexpectedly said casually that he would give such a precious green bead wristband to himself. The green bead wristband is made of green gold material, not to mention how precious the material is, just the effect makes people yearn for it, triple the strength of the physical body. And there is no upper limit, for a genius like him who specializes in the body. It is like a treasure, and he wants to have it in his dreams, but such treasures as green bead wristbands are hard for ordinary people to see, because they are made of supreme materials after all. The green and gold of the blue sky, the God Emperor and the strong should treat it well, use it to build their own God Emperor weapons, and never waste materials to make wrist guards. Young master don't want words. Such gifts are too expensive for King Kong to bear. It's hard to imagine that a heroic man like Jingang with well-developed limbs and a simple mind would be so overwhelmed and his movements stiff, obviously want it, but dare not accept it, extremely contradictory. He waved his hands again and again for a while, but his eyes were fixed on the green bead wristband without blinking. Tian immediately felt that Jingang was cuter than himself, a 1-year-old child. Brother accepts. It's just a wristband. Tian waved his fleshy little hand with a nonchalant expression, as if to him, it was just a wristband. The fact is indeed the case, he also has the phoenix bracer, his physical body has increased by 15 times, I don't know how much stronger than the green bead wristband, but keeping the green bead wristband by his side seems cumbersome, so it's better to use it to buy a wave of people's hearts. Since that's the case, then accept it, and thank you young master. From now on, my life, Jingang, belongs to the young master. I, Jingang, am also a rough person, I don't know what to say. But today, I made a great oath to follow the young master forever, and share weal and woe with no two hearts. If you break this oath, you will be punished by heaven and earth. As Jingang said, he knelt down and bowed 3 times and bowed 9 times to Tian. At the same time, he made a great oath, and there was already a causal connection in the dark. Above the sky, the void was shattered, and thunder and lightning danced, as if the world had been destroyed. The avenue oath is in effect. If Jingang is sentenced to leave the oath in the future, there will be no reincarnation forever, and the consequences will be disastrous. Tears welled up in Jingang's eyes, and his heart was moved. Deciding to follow the young master was definitely not a reckless decision made by Jingang. You know, this green bead bracelet is so precious, if it is placed in the outside world, Tianjiao flocks to it, wishing to spend a huge price to keep it for himself, and although I am the 4th sequence of the Wangyi family, it is extremely difficult to obtain it, relying on his own adventures. Creating contributions to the family, conquering mysterious areas, subduing monsters, etc., but it may take decades to exchange family contribution points for such fetishes as green bead bracelets, and this is just a matter of the young master's words. Following the young master is definitely a wise choice, but Tian was dumbfounded. He just gave away a wristband, but he actually accepted another follower. According to the literature I read in my previous life, shouldn't the fantasy world be extremely cruel and full of intrigue? But these people in my family are all very enthusiastic. Cousin, and cousin take great care of themselves, parents dote on them, and the family is harmonious. The clan brothers in front of you will all cry because of a wristband and become your followers. The invincible background is really useful. As if feeling dissatisfied, the voice of the system sounded in his mind again. Ding, it was detected that the host gave Jingang a green bead wristband. Trigger the 10 times return mode, and the 10 times return mode starts. Ding, return it to the host, 10 strings of green bead wristbands. Hearing the voice of the system, Tian was speechless in his heart, and secretly said, Tongzi, I already have phoenix wristbands, why do I need green bead wristbands, and there are 10 of them at a time. What, you want me to build a big snow dragon cavalry? Can't you give me something with 10 times the quality? Your dog system is really hard to change. System, the baby is suffering. If it weren't for his 10-fold return mode, and he was still desperately upgrading, he wouldn't be so angry, but he hasn't upgraded after such a long time, and he dare not speak, for fear that the host will spray him again. Yi Tian spat at the system again in his heart, as if he felt vented, so he stopped. It is estimated that the system would never have imagined that there would be such a host. The key is that the background is invincible, so you don't have to be angry, just raise your bar. In the future, Yi Jingang is willing to charge forward for the young master, and to stand in front of him. Those who dare to be the young master, beheaded. Brother, you don't need to be too polite, please hurry up. Yi Tian twisted his small body, trying to help Yi Jingang up. Seeing this scene, Huang Ruoxi and Su Qingmian opened their phoenix eyes slightly. They didn't expect it. This is not wrong. Little master, you sent out the green bead wristband easily, and even took in a follower. The dignified Eternal Yi family's fourth sequence, with the Vajra god body, has become the followers of the little master. The two maids looked at each other slowly, and both could see the astonishment in each other's pupils. In the end, I can only sigh silently in my heart. The little master's personality is too powerful. She is only 1 year old, and still like this. I don't know what kind of situation will be stirred up in the future. At the same time, the entire eternal immortal realm, the 3000 Dao realm, also caused great waves. Yi Tian, the young master of the Wangyi family, is only 1 year old, and he is only a mortal body, but he can transcend the world, conduct a physical test with the ancient Taixuan steel, and punch with a force of caddies. Such news spread like wildfire, spread widely, and has already resounded among many immortal forces. What? 1 year old has officially stepped into the road of cultivation, and he can still punch 500 caddies. What a joke! A mortal body, according to common sense, would have some difficulty stepping into the path of cultivation at the age of 3, but he can surprise the world with one punch and create a myth. Impossible, impossible at all. Yi Tian has a mortal body, how can he do this? One of the elders of the great sect couldn't believe it, and questioned it with a grim expression. He thought the spies were deceiving him. Today's strongest person in the heavens, when the world god Emperor Yi Junlin was 1 year old, he only punched 500 caddies with one punch. Could it be that his son can surpass him with only his mortal body? Is it true that the Wangyi family is more powerful than the previous generation? Then these forces, wouldn't they have no place to stand up forever, and they would be ridden on their heads forever? Hee, it's just a gimmick. It must be because the Wangyi family didn't want their young master to bear the reputation of being a waste, deliberately creating momentum, pretending to be a wolf with a big tail. There is a seemingly shrewd elder, stroking his beard, with a look of complete control. The corners of his eyes are raised from time to time, and he thinks he is smart. But in the eyes of others, it is a treacherous appearance.